Arnold Schwarzenegger sits across from his girlfriend's wealthy father at a formal dinner in 1969 Munich when the man looks at him with pure contempt and says, "You have nothing. My daughter deserves someone with a future." What Arnold does next changes everything. Munich, Germany, November 1969. Saturday evening, 7 p.m. Arnold Schwarzenegger stands outside an elegant townhouse in Bogenhausen, Munich's wealthiest neighborhood. The address Barbara gave him led here, to this street of old money and older families, where every building whispers quiet wealth through cream-colored facades, ornate iron balconies, perfectly manicured hedges, gas lamps that still burn at dusk like they did a century ago. Three-story classical architecture surrounds him. Stone lions guard doorways. Mercedes sedans line the curbs. This is where Munich's elite live. Industrialists, bankers, families with Von in their names, people who measure lineage in centuries. Arnold looks down at himself. Dark gray suit, his only suit, bought secondhand from a shop near the train station. The jacket pulls tight across his shoulders. He's 240 pounds of muscle. Suits aren't designed for bodybuilders. The fabric strains when he moves. White shirt, narrow black tie, leather shoes polished until they shine. He spent an hour polishing them this morning. His hair is thick, dark, styled back with pomade borrowed from Franco. He's 22 years old. Young, ambitious, in love, and about to meet the man who wants to destroy that love before it goes any further. Barbara stands beside him in a burgundy dress that probably costs more than Arnold makes in 3 months. Pearls at her neck. Blonde hair styled in a salon that morning. Makeup perfect. Heels that click on cobblestone. She's 24, 2 years older than Arnold, from this world of privilege and expectations. She knows this dinner is a test. Her father agreed to meet Arnold only after months of her insisting, and he agreed not to welcome Arnold into the family, but to prove to Barbara that this relationship is a mistake, to show her, clearly and definitively, that the bodybuilder from Austria is not suitable, not acceptable, not enough. Barbara keeps adjusting her pearl necklace, a nervous habit Arnold has noticed. She does it when she's anxious. Right now, she's terrified. He can be difficult, she says quietly, her German formal, careful. My father. He has very specific ideas about everything. Just be yourself. Be polite. Answer his questions. It will be fine. She's trying to convince herself more than Arnold. Arnold nods. He's met men like her father before. Men who measure worth in inherited wealth, in titles, in social connections. Men who look at a bodybuilder from Thal, a village of 2,000 people, and see nothing of value. But he loves Barbara. Met her 6 months ago at a competition in Stuttgart. She was there with friends, curious about bodybuilding, intrigued by the spectacle. They talked after the show. She gave him her number. They've been inseparable since. And if enduring one difficult dinner with her father is what it takes to keep seeing her, Arnold will endure it. They walk up the stone steps. Barbara rings the doorbell. A brass button set in an ornate frame. The sound echoes inside. Footsteps approach. The door opens. A woman in a formal uniform, a housekeeper, gray dress, white apron, the kind of household staff that only exists in wealthy homes. She recognizes Barbara, smiles warmly. Miss Barbara, then looks at Arnold, her smile becoming polite but distant. Please, come in. They step into the foyer. Marble floor. Crystal chandelier hanging from a ceiling painted with clouds and cherubs. Darkwood paneling. Oil paintings of stern-faced men in military uniforms. Family ancestors probably, judging everyone who enters. A curved staircase leading to upper floors. The smell of furniture polish and old money. Everything perfect. Everything expensive. Everything designed to make visitors feel small. The housekeeper leads them down a hallway to a sitting room. Heavy curtains, velvet furniture, more oil paintings, a fireplace with an elaborate mantel, Persian rugs thick enough to sink into. 2 people wait inside. Barbara's mother stands near the window, late 40s, elegant in a cream-colored dress, hair styled perfectly, pearls matching her daughter's, the kind of woman who has never worked a day in her life and considers that an accomplishment. She sees Barbara, smiles, embraces her warmly. "Darling, you look beautiful." Then turns to Arnold, extends her hand, not for a handshake, for Arnold to kiss. European formality. Arnold has seen this before, but it still feels strange. He takes her hand lightly, bows slightly. "Frau Hoffman, thank you for inviting me to your home." His German is fluent but accented, the rural Styrian inflection from his village. No amount of practice erases where you come from. Frau Hoffman's smile is polite, practiced, the smile of someone performing hospitality while privately agreeing with her husband that this guest shouldn't be here. "Mr. Schwarzenegger, Barbara has spoken of you." Not warmly, just factually. Acknowledgement without endorsement. She withdraws her hand quickly, turns back to Barbara, starts talking about something inconsequential, leaving Arnold standing there, dismissed before the evening has even begun. Then there's the father, Herr Wilhelm Hoffman, late 50s, silver hair combed precisely, not a strand out of place. Steel gray suit that fits perfectly because it was made for him by a tailor whose family has dressed his family for 3 generations. Gold watch on his wrist, wedding ring, cufflinks with a family crest. The bearing of a man who has never been told no, never been questioned, never been anywhere he wasn't immediately respected. He owns a manufacturing company, ball bearings, industrial components, something technical that Arnold doesn't fully understand but knows is profitable. The company was his father's, and his grandfather's before that. Herr Hoffman didn't build anything. He inherited everything, but he believes he earned it by being born into the right family. He sits in a leather chair near the fireplace, doesn't stand when Arnold enters, doesn't acknowledge him at all initially, just sits there reading a newspaper, Süddeutsche Zeitung, the respectable choice for respectable men. Arnold stands in the doorway, waiting. Barbara glances at her father, then at Arnold, uncomfortable. Finally, Herr Hoffman lowers the newspaper, looks at Arnold. Not a welcoming look, an assessing look, the way you'd examine a horse you're considering buying and have already decided is inadequate. "So, you're the bodybuilder." Not a question, a classification. A reduction of Arnold's entire identity to one word that Herr Hoffman clearly considers beneath contempt. Arnold steps forward, extends his hand. "Arnold Schwarzenegger, sir. Thank you for inviting me to your home." He keeps his voice respectful, formal, everything his mother taught him about addressing elders. Herr Hoffman looks at the extended hand for 3 long seconds, long enough for the silence to become uncomfortable. Long enough for Arnold to feel the insult. Then he reaches out, shakes Arnold's hand briefly, limply, the kind of handshake that communicates disgust at physical contact. His hand is soft, uncalloused, the hand of a man who has never done manual labor. He pulls back immediately, wipes his hand on his pant leg. A small gesture, probably unconscious. But Arnold sees it, feels it. The message is clear. You are dirty. You are beneath me. Touching you is unpleasant. Sit. Herr Hoffman gestures to a chair across from him. Not an invitation, a command. The way you tell a dog to sit. Arnold sits. The chair is stiff, formal, uncomfortable. He's too big for it. His shoulders too wide. He tries to find a position that doesn't look awkward. Fails. Herr Hoffman watches this with something like amusement. Returns to his newspaper. Reads. Ignores Arnold completely. Minutes pass. Barbara tries to make small talk with her mother. Forced conversation about a cousin's wedding, about renovations to their summer house, about anything to fill the crushing silence. Arnold sits there, waiting, being made to wait. It's a power play. Arnold recognizes it. Make the guest wait. Make them uncomfortable. Establish dominance before a word is spoken. Finally, the housekeeper returns. Announces that dinner is ready. Herr Hoffman folds his newspaper precisely, stands, walks past Arnold without a word. They move to the dining room. It's worse than the sitting room. Long mahogany table. Could seat 12 easily, set for 4. Fine china with gold trim. Multiple pieces of silverware at each place setting. More than Arnold has ever seen at one table. Crystal wine glasses. Silver candlesticks. Cloth napkins folded into elaborate shapes. A painting on the wall, some Dutch master, probably worth more than Arnold will make in his lifetime. Everything designed to intimidate, to remind the guest that they are out of their depth. Herr Hoffman takes his seat at the head of the table. The power position. His wife sits to his right. Barbara is directed to sit to his left. Arnold is placed at the far end. Maximum distance from Herr Hoffman. The seating arrangement itself is an insult. You put important guests close. You put unwanted guests far away. Arnold sits. The chair is more comfortable than the one in the sitting room, but he still feels enormous, out of place, like a bear in a dollhouse. The housekeeper begins serving. First course. Soup. Clear broth with something floating in it. Arnold has no idea what it is. He watches Barbara, sees which spoon she uses. The smaller one on the outside. He follows her lead. Tastes the soup. It's bland, barely seasoned. Rich people food, he thinks. Food that costs a lot but tastes like nothing. Silence. Just the sound of spoons against porcelain. The clink of crystal as Herr Hoffman drinks water. Arnold can feel the weight of judgment. Everyone at this table knows why he's here. Everyone knows this dinner is a test. And everyone except Barbara wants him to fail. Finally, Herr Hoffman speaks. His voice is measured. Cold. The voice of a man accustomed to being obeyed. Barbara tells me you lift weights. He doesn't look at Arnold when he says this. Keeps his eyes on his soup. As if Arnold isn't worth eye contact. Arnold swallows. Clears his throat. Yes, sir. I'm a bodybuilder. I train 6 days a week. Sometimes 7 if I'm preparing for a competition. He's trying to sound professional. Dedicated. Serious about his craft. Herr Hoffman finally looks up. His expression hasn't changed. Still cold. Still assessing. And this is your profession? You lift weights. For a living. The way he says it. The emphasis on for a living. Like it's absurd. Like claiming you breathe air for a living. Arnold feels the trap. But there's no way around it. Only through it. I compete, sir. I've won several titles. Junior Mr. Europe in 1965. Mr. Universe in 1967. Best built man of Europe. I also work at a gym in Munich, training clients, and Herr Hoffman cuts him off. Doesn't raise his voice. Doesn't need to. Just speaks over Arnold like he's not there. Competitions. Bodybuilding competitions. With prizes, I assume. Arnold nods. Some have prize money, yes. Not much, but, again cut off. Not much. I see. So you work at a gym. As a trainer. That's your career. The way he says trainer makes it sound like janitor. Like street sweeper. Like the lowest profession imaginable. Arnold's jaw tightens. He can feel heat rising in his face. Anger. Humiliation. But he keeps his voice steady. For now, yes. But my goal is to become Mr. Olympia. It's the highest title in professional bodybuilding. After that, I plan to move to America. I want to get into films. Acting. I've been studying English, working with a coach, preparing. Herr Hoffman sets down his spoon. The sound echoes in the silent room. He looks at Arnold now. Really looks at him. And what Arnold sees in those eyes is not curiosity. Not interest. Just cold contempt. Films. He repeats the word slowly. Like he's tasting something rotten. You want to be in films. Arnold nods, trying to hold on to his vision, his dream. Yes, sir. In America. There are opportunities there for. Herr Hoffman interrupts. Not aggressively. Almost gently. The way you'd correct a child who said something foolish. Mr. Schwarzenegger. You can barely speak German properly. Your accent. Where are you from again? Arnold feels something twist in his stomach. Shame. The shame of being reminded that he doesn't belong. Thals, sir. It's a small village. Near grass. In Styria. Herr Hoffman nods slowly. Like Arnold just confirmed something he suspected. A farm village. Not a question. A statement. A classification. Arnold wants to defend his home. Wants to say Thal is beautiful, that growing up there gave him strength, gave him hunger to become something more. But he can't find the words. Not in this room. Not under this man's gaze. Herr Hoffman continues. His voice never rises. Never becomes overtly hostile. That would be beneath him. Instead, he maintains this tone of patient explanation, like he's helping Arnold understand basic facts. You're from a farm village in Austria. You have a rural accent that marks you as lower class the moment you speak. You barely finished school. You have no university degree, no professional training. Your career, such as it is, consists of lifting weights in a gym and occasionally winning small competitions with small prizes. And now you tell me you plan to go to America, a country where you don't speak the language, and become a film actor. Based on what exactly? Muscles. The question hangs there. Barbara speaks for the first time since they sat down. Father, please. Arnold has worked very hard. He's accomplished. Herr Hoffman silences her with a look. Just a look. No words needed. She stops mid-sentence. Looks down at her soup. Defeated. He turns back to Arnold. Let me be very clear, Mr. Schwarzenegger. I don't say this to be cruel. I say this to be honest. Something you need to hear. Something my daughter needs to hear. He pauses. Takes a sip of water. Sets the glass down precisely. I have worked my entire life to build something. My father built it before me. My grandfather before him. We have created wealth, position, respect in this community. We move in certain circles. We maintain certain standards. My daughter has been raised with expectations. She attended the finest schools. She speaks 3 languages fluently. She has been introduced to the right people, the right families. She has a future that has been carefully prepared for her. Arnold sits there, hands in his lap, beneath the table, clenched into fists so tight his knuckles are turning white. He wants to stand, wants to leave, wants to tell this man exactly what he thinks of his money and his position and his narrow, limited view of what a person can become. But he doesn't, because walking out would prove Herr Hoffman right, would prove that Arnold can't handle civilized society, can't control his temper, is exactly the lower-class brute this man believes him to be. Herr Hoffman continues, You are a bodybuilder from a small village. You have no education, no real profession, no prospects beyond this fantasy of films and fame. You have nothing, Mr. Schwarzenegger. You have your muscles and your ambition. That's all. And frankly, muscles are common. Any man can build muscles if he lifts weights long enough. There's nothing special about that. Nothing that translates to a real life. A sustainable life. The kind of life my daughter deserves. The words hit like punches. Each one calculated. Each one designed to cut. Arnold feels his face burning. Feels his throat tightening. Feels the rage building in his chest like pressure in a boiler. But he doesn't move. Doesn't speak. Just sits there. Taking it. Because what can he say? That he will be Mr. Olympia? Herr Hoffman doesn't care. That he will be in movies? Herr Hoffman thinks it's a fantasy. That he will prove him wrong. Herr Hoffman has heard that from dozens of young men who dated his daughter before Arnold. And where are they now? Gone. Forgotten. Proven wrong by time and reality. Herr Hoffman's voice softens slightly. Almost sympathetic now. The sympathy of a doctor delivering terminal news. Barbara is my only daughter. I love her. I want what's best for her. And what's best for her is not a life of uncertainty with a man who has no foundation. She deserves someone stable, someone with a career, a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, someone from a good family, someone with a future she can depend on. You are not that person. You will never be that person. He lets that sit for a moment, then delivers the final blow. This bodybuilding, this dream of America, of films, of fame, it's a fantasy. I've seen it before. Young men with big dreams and no plan. They believe hard work is enough. It isn't. The world doesn't reward effort. It rewards position. It rewards connections. It rewards being born into the right circumstances. You weren't. You're starting from nothing. And nothing is where you'll end. Arnold finally speaks. His voice is quiet, steady, but there's something underneath it. Something hard. I will succeed, sir. Herr Hoffman smiles. Not warmly. The smile of a teacher watching a student insist that 2 + 2 = 5. You believe that. I'm sure you do. Young men always believe they're special, that their situation is different, that they'll be the exception. But belief doesn't pay bills, Mr. Schwarzenegger. It doesn't build a life. It doesn't provide security for a family. Barbara has been indulging this relationship, this phase. But it's time she faced reality. And it's time you did too. The main course arrives. The housekeeper brings plates. Beef, perfectly cooked. Roasted potatoes. Seasonal vegetables. Everything arranged beautifully. Arnold picks up his fork. Can barely taste the food. It could be cardboard. His throat is tight. Swallowing is difficult. Barbara is crying quietly. Not loud sobbing. Just tears running down her face that she dabs with her napkin, trying to be discreet, trying to maintain composure. Her mother eats in silence, refusing to make eye contact with anyone, complicit in her husband's cruelty through her silence. Herr Hoffman eats calmly, cuts his meat precisely, chews slowly, satisfied that he's made his point, that he's done what needed to be done, shown this bodybuilder from nowhere that he doesn't belong, that he never will. The meal continues in crushing silence. 15 minutes that feel like hours. Finally, mercifully, it ends. Dessert is offered. Arnold declines, his voice barely above a whisper. No, thank you. I should go. Thank you for dinner. He stands. Barbara stands with him. I'll walk you out. They walk to the front door in silence. In the foyer, Barbara grabs his hand. Whispers, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't think he'd be that cruel. I didn't know he'd. She's crying harder now. Arnold touches her face gently, wipes a tear with his thumb. It's not your fault. She asks, voice breaking. Will I see you tomorrow? Arnold nods. Of course. But they both feel something has changed. Some innocence has been lost. Some belief that love can overcome everything has been shaken. Arnold opens the door, steps out into the night. Cold November air. He takes a deep breath, tries to steady himself. Behind him, he hears footsteps. Heavy, deliberate. Herr Hoffman's voice cuts through the darkness. Mr. Schwarzenegger. Arnold turns. Herr Hoffman stands in the doorway, backlit by the warm light from inside. His face in shadow. His voice is cold. Final. The voice of a man delivering sentence. You will fail. And when you do, stay away from my daughter. She deserves better than watching you fall. Arnold doesn't respond. Can't respond. Just turns and walks down the steps. Through the gate. Down the street of elegant townhouses. Behind him, he hears the door close. The sound echoes. Final. Definitive. He walks for blocks. Doesn't know where he's going. Just walks. Hands in pockets. Head down. Replaying every word. Every insult. Every judgment. Feeling them cut deeper now that he's alone. 2 years pass. September 1971. Paris, France. The Olympia Theater. Arnold Schwarzenegger stands on stage under bright lights. 24 years old. 235 pounds of muscle. Conditioned to perfection. He hits a front lat spread. The crowd roars. The judges lean forward, taking notes. Arnold is destroying the competition, making it look easy. After the final pose down, the announcement comes. The 1971 Mr. Olympia, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the youngest champion in the competition's history. Proof that belief backed by discipline becomes reality. That coming from nothing doesn't mean staying there. 5 years pass. 1976, Los Angeles, California. Arnold is signed with a talent agency, taking acting classes 6 days a week. Accent reduction training, improvisation workshops, scene study. He's appearing in small roles, television guest spots, building the foundation, learning the craft. People in Hollywood tell him his accent is too thick, his body too big, his name unpronounceable. He'll never be a leading man. He hears them, doesn't listen, just works. 10 years pass. 1980, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a movie star. Conan the Barbarian is in production. His face is on magazine covers worldwide. Entertainment Tonight runs features about him. He's gone from bodybuilder to actor to celebrity. The trajectory everyone said was impossible. The fantasy everyone said would fail. That year, Arnold is cleaning out old papers. Finds Barbara's address. The Munich townhouse. Hasn't thought about that dinner in years. Or rather, has thought about it often but hasn't spoken of it. He sits down, writes a note. Short, simple. Herr Hoffman, I didn't fail. Best regards, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He includes a photograph. Himself holding the Mr. Olympia trophy. Puts it in an envelope. Mails it to Munich. He never receives a reply. Doesn't need one. The message wasn't for Herr Hoffman. Not really. It was for the 22-year-old version of Arnold who sat at that table, fists clenched beneath white linen, taking insults he didn't deserve, staying silent when he wanted to scream. That version of Arnold needed to know something. Needed to hear it from his future self. The people who doubt you don't define you. The people who measure your worth by their limited understanding don't determine your ceiling. You prove them wrong not with words, not with arguments, not with anger. You prove them wrong by becoming exactly who you said you'd become. Years later, in interviews, when asked about moments of doubt, Arnold sometimes mentions that dinner. Never names Herr Hoffman. Never details the specific insults. Just says, someone once told me I had nothing. I made sure they were wrong. The interviewer usually laughs. Thinks Arnold is being modest. Doesn't realize how deep that moment cut. How close Arnold came to believing it. How hard he had to work not just to prove Herr Hoffman wrong, but to prove himself right. Who told you that you have nothing? Who measured your dreams against their limited imagination and found them lacking? Who looked at where you came from and decided where you'd end? Because the only person who gets to write your future is you. Everyone else is just guessing. And their guesses, no matter how confident, no matter how cruel, don't matter. Not if you refuse to let them matter. Not if you take that doubt and turn it into fuel. Not if you sit at that table, take those insults, and walk out with your dignity intact and your determination doubled. 10 seconds of cruelty. 10 years of work. One card proving them wrong. That's the equation. That's the answer. That's how you win when losing seems inevitable.